And you can look around, women are oppressed. They keep saying that we're oppressed, but then we're also empowered. And so how do I know when to assume responsibility for the outcomes of my life? I think that that's a poor message to sell to young girls, especially with the rise of fatherless homes. Like, that's a horrible message. So subscribe to our channels.
Yeah,
and I agree strongly with that, because that's when one of the biggest contradictions, bro, that I see with women nowadays. It's like, can y'all please pick a struggle? One minute y'all saying y'all oppressed, but then the next minute y'all strong and independent and empowered. Like, how are y'all both? Y'all can't be both at the same time. God, man, it's like sometimes I be like, do women be listening, paying attention to themselves and hearing themselves? And oh my God, like, do y'all hear how dumb y'all sound sometimes? I don't mean to be rude or disrespectful, but please tell me, how does that make any sense to y'all? And I think that's one of the reasons why women are getting in their feelings about Lori Harvey breaking up with Michael B. Jordan, because this is her best opportunity to lock somebody down, because the older that she's get, it's going to be harder and harder for her to find somebody to take her seriously, because eventually she probably really is going to want to get married. And her turning down proposals ain't going to help her in the future. No pun intended. My bad, y'all. But seriously. What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy Ron back with another video. Before we get started, please like, comment, subscribe, all that good jazz. On the road to 1,000 subs, baby. Let's get it. Alright, so if you're new to the platform, please subscribe. If you're OG, appreciate the love and support. Now, let's go ahead and jump into it. I ain't gonna waste no time talking too much about this, man. I already did part one of this, and I told you guys I was gonna get back into it, so this is part 2. Now, let's go ahead and keep it moving.
And how does the money work in your marriage? Because you said your boyfriend is pretty successful. Did I say marriage? Sorry. Yeah. Your relationship. Knock on wood, girl. How does it work? You guys split rent? You guys split food bills, utility bills? Does he always pay for dinner? Like, she's being very open and honest, saying, look, he makes all the money. I'm here to support him. You've been open and honest, saying, hey, we both make money. So how do the bills break down?
Well, we kind of try to see where we're very open with our finances. So, like, he knows how much I make, I know how much he makes. And then we decide together what we're going to spend on what. Like, he pays the rent, so maybe I'm going to pay for the car or something. So, like,
but he pays the rent?
Yeah.
Period. He pays the rent.
Yeah.
Well, the rent is the biggest expense that someone will have.
Not necessarily.
Well, what do you mean? Of course it's the biggest expense.
No, like groceries and the car gets expensive.
No, groceries are a third.
Spend on groceries.
No, I'm not even.
A lot of organic food.
But the reality.
Bruh. Notice Pearl's reaction when she said that. Are you kidding me right now? And notice the smile that she had when she need to
stop the cap.
For real. She really need to stop capping. That is the smile of a woman that's like, yeah, I know. Yeah, he's paying majority of the bills. I'm just trying to sound like I'm doing what he can, because in reality I really don't want to. See, this is the perfect example of a woman that's, I'm strong and independent. I got my own bag, but I'm in his bag too. Shout out to Megan Thee Stallion again. No, not really.
Nope.
But that line always sticks out to me, man, because it describes the modern woman in a nutshell. That's why I always shout out Megan Thee Stallion for that, because it's the perfect way to describe the modern woman. Let's keep it moving.
The reality is rent or housing is the biggest expense.
He pays the rent.
Okay. But being the man in the relationship, paying the rent, you're living technically under his roof. Does that qualify him to have a little more say in the relationship, or no?
No, I wouldn't say that, because I don't quantify certain things. So, like, if he pays the rent, but maybe maybe I'm actually physically gonna go buy the groceries. So I'm gonna put my time and my effort and my energy into doing something, and he's gonna do something else.
Do you do all, like, the cooking and cleaning?
No.
Oh,
he's a Virgo, so he's like,
so
really
what,
good.
like, because he's, paying the rent, that's really nice. Does he, what does he get in return?
What does he get in return? Mm-hmm. He gets a lot in return.
Nope.
Okay, like what?
Like I'm gonna keep that I don't know, not answered.
What did you mean by that?
Yeah, I'm so
just
confused.
if a dude was paying my rent, like I'd make sure that I would do the cooking, cleaning, I would do everything in the house. So
You're saying if a guy's paying your rent, you're doing everything.
Yeah, free rent. What?
Around the YouTube channel though.
What?
Around the YouTube channel though.
What do you mean?
Your YouTube channel, you really enjoy that, right? So I think you would find a way to fit in your schedule, prioritizing your relationship, and while also not essentially sacrificing all of your channel.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't just like do nothing. I think you could cook and clean and still do other things.
No, but I think you guys are mishearing what I'm trying to say. Like,
No, they're not mishearing what you're saying. You're just telling on yourself without really thinking you telling on yourself. You are the typical modern woman. You want to be strong and independent, but you want a man to pay for everything. You want to have your own money to spend it on what you want to spend it on, and you want him to spend his money on to pretty much supply your lifestyle. You just said so yourself he pays the rent. Meanwhile, you got Pearl over here saying like, what? Like, no, if my man is paying the rent, I'm doing all the cooking and cleaning. See, that's more of an even exchange. See, I'm like, but see, she ain't built like that. I can tell you right now, the dude that she's dealing with, he does not know his worth, or he's beta as French toast. Yep. Let's keep it moving.
if he pays the rent, okay, but let me give you a whatever. Let's say the rent is $5K. It's not $5K, but let's say it's $5K. Maybe I'm gonna spend $2-3K for something else. So it's not like tit for tat. So like he pays rent, but maybe I'm gonna spend the same amount of money for something else.
So it's more like 50-50.
It's not 50-50 because that's just not how I was brought up, and that's not how I was raised.
Okay, what would you say? It's like 80-20?
Maybe 70-30.
70-30, okay.
Is that a fair split?
Nope.
I mean, it sounds what I believe most women would expect is the 70-30. They might not say it. And I think that 70-30 is the new 50-50 because we're going to downplay the man's money versus the woman's money, if that makes sense. I think this is essentially a modern relationship, and I don't prefer modern relationships, and I think they have their own issues because I don't think there's that sweet intimacy that is between a feminine woman and a masculine man, where you just have these understanding of your roles within the home. But some people want to gender bend and they want to do their relationships how they want to do it. I know that if I had to grow up in that kind of situation where I didn't see either one of my parents, I don't think I'd be happy with that.
And I want to just say I was in a relationship before where he was taking care of everything, and I was just like, I still had my thing going on, whatever, but like he was in control, and I felt that that was just not for me because I felt very like I don't want to hear an argument like get out of my house. Like that's not something I would ever want to hear. So I would not put myself in that situation because this just doesn't work for me.
Do you think it...
Translation, I want to be able to speak to my man however the hell I want and not be held accountable for how I talk back to my man. Yep. That's basically what she's saying. And if you want to be really technical, if your man is paying the rent, technically he can still do that. Because if he can afford to pay the rent and you and him stay there, I'm pretty sure he can afford to pay the rent and everything else and all his other necessities. Because judging how bougie you come off, you don't deal with any man that ain't somewhat well off. See, that's the problem with women like her. They think just because they're attractive and have their own money that they still have leverage. No, you don't. Hypergamy is undefeated, especially when it comes to women like you. So you even dig yourself deeper in a hole and even further behind the 8 ball because you're only going to deal with guys that are on your level and up. And those guys are more than happy to date down in order to get the kind of cooperation that they really want from women. Period. I swear, women with egos like her, bro, they really trip me out, bro. Let's keep it moving.
It depends on the guy.
For sure.
So like maybe that was just the wrong guy.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
But
you have another question, Natalia?
I have a question for Coco from Ricky Bobby, $10.
Ricky Bobby.
He says, Coco, I can retire you today. You gonna be submissive?
No. First off, I would never. I'm in a relationship, so him even asking that.
But if you weren't, like say you weren't in a relationship, say you are successful, say you take care of yourself and you do those things and you feel good about yourself, you found who you were. And you have somebody who says, hey, like, I want to retire you. You know, like, I don't want you to work anymore. I want you to be my wife.
I work because I want to work. And I enjoy...
Would you lessen your work for...
I would never do anything for another person. I used to do that when I was in my 20s.
But do you think that that would change if you found somebody that fit all those, like, categories for you in that sense?
So would I stop building my dream because I met a guy?
Like lessen. Maybe you put more attention to...
Maybe if I have a kid,
him.
I would put more attention towards the kid. And I would... Like, I don't know if when I get married, how am I going to feel? Maybe I'm going to want to travel the world with my husband for a year. I don't know. So, like, I can answer that question then. But I just don't want that kind of relationship where you have to give up who you are to be somebody's wife.
Isn't that any relationship? Like, both parties have to make sacrifices?
You make sacrifices. We make compromise, not sacrifice, in my opinion.
Like, is it just me or just listening to her talk annoying, bro? I don't know what it is, bro. Like, for real. Seriously, man.
Life got better when I stopped drinking, like a lot better.
I hear you.
And I would recommend it to anyone.
My New Year's resolution this past year was less drinking and less cursing. And I've been getting wasted. I'm just kidding right there. By the way, we got probably 15 minutes left. I do want to cover a couple topics. We will be taking your questions at the end of the show. Natalia on the ones and twos been doing this.
All right, let's keep it moving.
I want to address a couple more things. Pearl, I know you have very strong thoughts on the concept of feminism, and you reacted to Jordan Peterson.
Yes.
Friend of the show, autograph right here. He's our guy.
Oh, that's so cool.
Tell us what you've learned from him in the concept of feminism.
Oh, I think feminism lies to women. Yeah. So I think they tell you to chase the bag, follow your career, and someone is still going to want you at the end of it. And I think that is a lie. I think men don't prefer older women, and I think they don't prefer career women. And a lot of times these women end up single, childless, and alone because feminism told them that was going to get them the results that they wanted, and it doesn't. Yeah.
And the numbers support it. And I already know Coco Booty. Coco Beauty is gonna sit over here and say some duty. See what she got to say. I already know she about to say something.
Yeah, so I have pretty strong feelings.
Yeah. All right, Allie, you want to react to that?
I don't like feminism at all. I've never even identified as a feminist. You have to think I'm a Latina that grew up in a lower socioeconomic status in a single mother home. To me, feminism just seemed like an affluent white woman problem. I was like, what are the complaints? What really don't we have in the West? I served in the United States Army. They let me do that. So I just don't see it. And you can look around. Women are oppressed. They keep saying that we're oppressed, but then we're also empowered. And so how do I know when to assume responsibility for the outcomes of my life? I think that that's a poor message to sell to young girls, especially with the rise of fatherless homes. Like, that's a horrible message. So subscribe to our channels.
Yeah,
and I agree strongly with that, because that's when one of the biggest contradictions, bro, that I see with women nowadays. It's like, can y'all please pick a struggle? 1 minute y'all saying y'all oppressed, but then the next minute y'all strong and independent and empowered. Like, how are y'all both? Y'all can't be both at the same time. God, man, it's like sometimes I be like, do women be listening, paying attention to themselves and hearing themselves, and oh my God, like, do y'all hear how dumb y'all sound sometimes? I don't mean to be rude or disrespectful, but please tell me, how does that make any sense to y'all? How? Oh my God, bruh. Let's keep it moving, y'all.
What percentage would you think be more inclined to agree with you, and what would be more Coco, and
It
what would
depends
just...
where are you taking that
this is
poll.
a general question.
in the U.S.
Women in the U.S.
Honestly,
Women in the U.S.
Right. So if you even have female viewers, because I don't know.
We're 90% male.
90%. So for the 10% of women out there, I would say that like 90% of women would agree with Coco, but would be absolutely blind and think that they could even be like her. Right? This is not to gas you up, but you're a very attractive woman. I'm assuming you eat well. I'm assuming you go to the gym. You're intelligent enough to create a business. A lot of women would be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna follow her. And it's like, sis, it's not you. It's not you. So yeah, I think.
Way to build her up and then just take her down.
Well,
Right there.
no,
Not her,
no, right, the women out there. So that's what I think the agreement would come out to is absolute delusion. They would think that we're oppressed, and then we have Coco here. She's chasing the bag, doing it well, wonderfully.
Do you agree, Coco, that most women would more identify with your mindset versus the ally and pro mindset?
Well, the women I surround myself with, but I also think that
not who you surround yourself with, women in general. If 1 million women were watching the show, what percentage are like, yes, Coco, that's my girl, and what percentage are like, no, I'm on the Ally Pro team?
I think that
this is a hypothetical question. You don't need an exact answer.
A lot of them would agree with me, but some of them would secretly agree with them, but then still vote for me because they think that's politically correct.
Oh my God. She just blew my mind and said the right thing. Jesus Christ. Oh my God. I cannot believe it. Wow. I'm wondering if she's saying that because she knows that's the truth, or she just saying that because she knows that that's what we want to hear. Or maybe it's a little bit of both. Wow, man. Let me know what y'all think, man. Cause I was not expecting that answer. Cause I haven't gotten this deep into the cause I haven't gotten this deep into this podcast. But wow, that answer kind of wow. Okay, I wasn't expecting that answer. I thought she was gonna be kind of snobby about it, but she actually kept it a buck. Cause let's keep it real, y'all. That's exactly what she was like. I think people would agree with me more just because that's the politically correct thing to say nowadays. I'm like, yeah, because that's what's being pushed. But in reality, most women want what Ally has. Period. Yep. Most women really want that. For women, it's all about the easiest path to resistance. It's the reason why the most attractive women on the planet. When was the last time you seen a really, really attractive woman doing like really hard labor or even working at a fast food restaurant? It's extremely rare for you to find a half decent looking chick working at a fast food chain restaurant. It's a reason for that. That's all I'm saying. It's levels. Let's keep it moving.
Haters, and call out your haters. Go ahead.
My biggest haters are women that don't have standards and they're just gonna take whatever guy is around. So like when I had this video, No Coffee Walk Date, a lot of women were commenting like that video till this day. I don't even know how. Like after a year, people are still hating on it. I'm like, just do it. It's great for my engagement. But they are just like, oh, I will go for a coffee walk date. I would do this. I'm like, I would rather be at home editing a video than go on a coffee walk date with a guy that thinks that I'm hot. Because like there's the coffee walk date, like that type of person, like people who are totally fine with the bare minimum. Those are my haters. And then also women who don't get what they want. And like I agree, not everybody can get what they want because they don't work for it. Like I went through hell living in the States on my own. Like imagine without your family, without your support system, like you're responsible for yourself. So like I put in the work. So if I am successful, I feel like I worked for it. So like things are not given to me. So like people who don't want to put in the work and people who are okay with the bare minimum, and then they're hating on me because I'm telling them that they could step it up.
Would you say that you have?
And I think the reason why that is because you do realize that there's quite a high percentage of women out here that are using men just for dates, right? We're just gonna ignore the fact that there was a survey done that 30% of women admitted that they go on dates strictly just to get a free meal. Like they don't have any interest in the man whatsoever. And then y'all wonder why men are asking to go Dutch. Y'all wonder why men are asking to go on coffee dates, park dates, walk dates, ice cream dates, things that are low investment. The reason for that being is because there are far too many women out here low-key scamming on some foodie dates. Like, what do y'all expect men to do? I'm like, we are so, like, the moment that we approach y'all, we are playing, you know what I mean? We in the negative. You know what I mean? Y'all gotta work up to commitment with us. We gotta work up to sex with y'all. That's how the mating game works. So it's like, and as a man, we gotta protect our wallet because that's what most women are after. Whether whether they want to do 50-50, 70-30, or 100 or be a housewife, whatever the case may be. So for her to sit over here and say that, I think that's a little bit disingenuous. Let's keep it moving, y'all.
And we need more in today's chaotic society. Thank you both.
Thank you for that comment. The reason, by the way, just a quick story, and then we'll do a wrap up. And this set, like, I remember, maybe I thought this. I remember I asked you if men and women are equal, and shout out to the women out there. I love women. Like, I don't have a lot of hobbies. I don't drive a fancy car. I save a lot of money, and I've done the traveling. I've done the partying. All I like to do is hang out with my friends and hang out with girls. Real talk. I don't have a card collection. I don't drive cars. I don't do mountain climbing. I don't do parasailing. I like hanging out with people. And I had a party for my 40th birthday a year or so ago. And I remember at the birthday party, I was newly single because I had a girl for a little while. Didn't work out. But I remember at my 40th birthday party, I had a bunch of friends. People showed up. It was great. Shout out to Bodega in South Beach if you ever want to go. And I remember a friend coming up to me and being like, dude, Adam, you're 40, bro. You're killing it. You're making money. You're the freaking man. Like, hyping me up, gassing me up, right? You know, this, that, the other. It's like, yo, I want to be you. I was like, all right, respect, bro. And he goes, oh, is that so-and-so over there? I'm not going to say her name. I mean, I remember her from high school. What's she up to? I'm like, oh, I don't know. Like, he's like, is she married yet? I go, no, I don't think so. He goes, man, feel bad for her. And I go, what do you mean you feel bad for her? And he's like, and essentially he was like, at 40, a guy, you could be like a stud or a pimp or whatever kind of, and at 40 for a female, he was like, wah, wah. Well, and that made me feel horrible for her. And it kind of was, because I felt kind of weird at 40, single, whatever, successful. But there is a difference between a guy who's 40 and a girl who's 40. Do you guys agree or disagree?
Absolutely.
Because at 40 for a woman, it's basically over.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, guys are...
As far as having kids?
Guys are having kids and, like, physically for most women, yeah. I mean, there's exceptions, sure, but that's not the rule. But as a 40-year-old guy that, like, you know, if you're doing pretty well, like, you could get married tomorrow with a 25-year-old, have 5 kids, and still have a whole life. That's just not the case biologically for women.
Yeah. That's true. Comments?
Yeah. I think it's sad, and also in some way I think it's embarrassing for women that are put in those situations, because how do you make it to 40 and not learn how to get along with a man? How do you make it that far and you just never pick up on cues? And sometimes these women have children, and that's great, and you know, sometimes they don't have a man, but sometimes they don't have either which one. They're just absolutely by themselves. And so, like, is that a full life? Because so they have girlfriends, that's great, but are all of those girlfriends single? Or are they also, like, married with children, or they have professions? It seems lonely to me, and I think women come out and they try to say that it's not, and I think it's a cope. You can see it on the TikTok pages. Like, look at me, I'm so happy, I'm drinking wine, and I'm 40, and I'm single.
Well,
but if you're so happy, why do you have to make your entire TikTok page and your identity
I'll tell you,
about that?
I'm not going to say this girl's name, but I'll give you a very clear example of someone that every time I'm like, oh, damn you. She was one of the hottest girls in high school. Grew up, you know, in her 20s, guys were throwing themselves left and right. She had her pick of the litter. By 30, she was still out there in South Beach doing her thing, still didn't have a man, and then I didn't see her for many years, right? I think she lived in New York doing her thing. But then I ran into her, I don't know, maybe like 3-ish years ago, and she was in her late 30s, early 40s. Now, the dude that she was, like, the guys that were pursuing her, certified studs in their 20s or whatever, now, essentially, she's like, hey, what's up with your friend over there? And, like, this guy, I wouldn't say he's a stud. So now, the girl who was 21, 25, even 30, that had her pick of the litter, has to realize that at 40, the studs aren't exactly throwing themselves on her anymore. Well, that's something a woman had to deal with. And I felt like so bad. I was like, she would. And I told the guy, because I'm friends with the guy, because he was like, what's up? I was like, dude, you don't understand. In high school, college, she was like the hottest chick. He was like, yeah, but that's 20 years ago, bro.
But why?
You lose.
And that's sad, man, because women, they don't take advantage of their youth, bro. And I think that's one of the reasons why women are getting in their feelings about Lori Harvey breaking up with Michael B. Jordan, because this is her best opportunity to lock somebody down, because the older that she's get, it's going to be harder and harder for her to find somebody to take her seriously, because eventually she probably really is going to want to get married, and her turning down proposals ain't going to help her in the future. No pun intended. My bad, y'all. But seriously, Like, yeah, it ain't gonna help her. Let's keep it moving.
It's not about
Okay.
you anymore.
Okay, I have
Right.
another question for them. I'm like genuinely curious. Let's say if you end up very unhappy, or maybe you're just like, something can just switch. You know, maybe you can just like, oh, I don't like him anymore. Would
I've
you
heard me.
would you stay married to him for the rest of your life? You're not sexually attracted. You don't like. He's just not funny anymore. You just don't like him anymore.
Do we have kids?
Yeah.
If we have kids, it's not about me anymore.
So you would
It's-
rather see your children grow up in a
Yeah.
home where parents are sleeping in separate bedrooms. They don't talk. They don't hold hands. They don't kiss.
I would rather see my kids grow up in a home where they're at every statistical advantage rather than statistical disadvantage. Because if the father is out of the home, that you put that kid at risk.
Why?
Because life is not easy. Like it's you might think, as a woman, like, oh, my kid's gonna be fine. Your child is just another human being in this world. The world is gonna show your kids that they're at a disadvantage. Because that was the question I had. I used to hate all my friends when I was a kid that had 2-parent households, right? And I would look at them like, why are they so happy? And now that I'm older, I can reflect. I'm like, man, everything that they say about being in a single mother home, it just isn't a good time.
And we were talking about it because we were talking about mental health the other day.
Yes.
And I was saying, like, mental health isn't a thing in my family. Like, we're all just happy people. And she says to me, that's because you had both parents in the home.
See, and that's what I mean. See, women like her, they don't understand the value of having both parents in the home because all they thinking about is themselves. They're not putting the kids first. See, that's why when you got all these single mothers out here and they want to hype themselves up and about how good of a mother that they are, you really gotta take that with a grain of salt, because a lot of these women that are single mothers, it's a good probability that some of them are single mothers because they put themselves first and not the children. Just saying. All right, let me know what y'all think about this, man. I'm gonna go ahead and end it here because this is getting pretty long, but I really didn't want to do a part 3. I wanted to try to chop it in half and do 2 parts. All right, if you're new to the platform, please subscribe. Make sure y'all hitting that like button. It helps with the algorithm. All right, make sure y'all hitting that notification bell so y'all know when I'm uploading. And to all my OGs, I appreciate the love and support. And until the next video, y'all, deuces.